What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. We are here back with another episode of the Quarantine Chronicles. Still at home. Not sure when we're going to be getting back to the normal office. But with that being said, I am very excited to be talking about The Biggest Loser. We're going to be talking about the finale, but then just the whole show, the whole revamp as a whole. So first and foremost, like I said in pretty much all of these videos, this is not at all going to be a video where I am attacking the contestants on the show or attacking the judges or anything like that. I really just want to talk about the whole layout of the show and how it went and how I feel this season was different and the same as the previous seasons that they've had. I'm not going to be able to play very many clips from the show. I will try and record a couple things from my iPhone of the screen of my laptop. I know it's not the best quality, but if I do it any other way, I get flagged for copyright. So that's kind of the only way I'm able to show you guys any clips from the actual show. So in the finale, we have three guys are the finalists. So we have Kyle, we have Micah, and we also have Jim. So the whole kind of basis of the first half of the episode is basically they're going to each of these people's houses and they're kind of following them around for a little bit because what was interesting, I'm not sure if this happened in the past. I haven't watched the other Biggest Losers in years now, but basically they sent them home for a bit of time. I don't know how many weeks it was. So they were actually home before they did the final weigh-in for the finale. So a lot of what they kind of talked about in this episode was the struggles that these people, Kyle, Micah, and Jim were facing as they were home. Now, that is one thing that I think was really, really cool. And I'm really glad that they focused on that because that's something that I think is incredibly important. And I think more than anything, that is the most important part of this show, right? Is how can the person be successful when they get back home? Because the fact of the matter is what they're doing at the ranch, while it's important and I'm glad that people are learning things, it doesn't really matter in the long run, right? Because if you're not able to learn things that you can sustain when you go home and you have your friends and your family, people that are depending on you, people that maybe are tempting you, maybe they don't know they're tempting you, but they're tempting you. You have businesses, you have things that you have to do, you have dinners you have to go to, that's where it really matters, right? That's where the meat and potatoes of weight loss comes down to, because I think anybody can really lose weight at the ranch, right? Because you literally have nothing else to do other than work out and eat healthy, hopefully, right? And so once you get home, that's where the real challenge is. Now, as they're doing this, they actually have some of the coaches visit some of the contestants, and Erica goes to visit Jim, who has lost an incredible amount of weight. So she is visiting him, and she says something while she's visiting him that I think is honestly probably one of the most profound things that I've seen in this show so far.
Taking care of yourself's not easy when you have all that stuff. Jim's got to learn time management to not burn himself out when it comes to losing weight and leading a healthy life. So great to meet you. But that's part of the journey, is trial and error and just learning to drop that all or nothing mentality.
So basically she says something along the lines of, all or nothing mentality that people have needs to go by the wayside if you're going to continue weight loss. And I cannot agree more. And I think that it's interesting that she says that because when these people are at the ranch, they're 100% all or nothing, right? It is weight loss, lose as much weight as possible, do as much as you possibly can. But again, like I said, that is not reality. So the fact that she said that, I thought that was incredible. I'm really, really happy that was put into the episode because I can't express how important I think that little soundbite, right? It was only 5 seconds of the show, but when I heard that, I wrote it down right away because that is such an important thing for people to learn. And that's just weight loss in general. A lot of us go from, eating everything in the world to trying to eat nothing or really, really low calories or really healthy foods. And then when we fall off the wagon for a second, it's oh my gosh, well, might as well just eat whatever I want because I already messed up. And that's that all or nothing mentality. So being able to say you know what, last night I didn't eat the best, but today's a new day and I'm going to move forward. That being able to do that is so unbelievably important, and it's such a good tool to be able to have. So again, most of the episode, the half is them kind of just explaining how it's harder when you're at home. Again, those are things that I agree with. And then they end up bringing pretty much everyone, they bring everyone that's been on the show back to the ranch because they have a cash prize for basically the person who has done the best job, lost the most percentage of their weight while at home. And to be completely honest, I was actually more interested in the people that had went home than the 3 finalists, because some of them have been home for months and months and months. Some of them have only been home for weeks. But the fact is like those people have been home for a while. And I will say that all in all, for most of the people on this season, the weight loss wasn't completely like huge like it's been in the past. Now there was a lot of weight loss, and we'll get into some of that later on in the video. But the weight loss for most people was relatively normal. It wasn't completely ridiculous. Like I remember I used to watch seasons of The Biggest Loser, and everyone on the show was like really, really thin, and then there'd be like the one person that didn't lose much weight. This time it was, people did really well, but it's not like everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is like, they lost over 100 pounds. I think there was only maybe 1 or 2 people that actually ended up losing over 100 pounds through the course of the show. So as they brought everyone together in the little room, they kind of did a little recap on the first episode. They kind of talked about the health issues that a lot of the people had, being, the size that they were. And Bob went through and kind of talked to some certain people about their health issues. And so I wrote it down here. And so right here it says Megan no longer has sleep apnea. So she was able to reverse her sleep apnea through losing weight, which is awesome. Kim and Dom they were no longer pre-diabetic. So they were pre-diabetic on the first episode. And this one was really cool. So Jim, he reversed his type 2 diabetes by, eating healthier and losing the weight. So again, I think that it's very, very cool that the whole show wasn't just about how much pounds were lost, but it was also about the life that was gained. I think you guys are kind of seeing a trend here in this episode, or in this video, is that I don't want to be super negative. There are things that I am not happiest with, but there was a lot of good in this episode, and I think that they did a pretty good job with this episode in particular, with sharing the positives of weight loss other than just this big number that is going to determine who wins this cash prize. So fast forward a little bit in the episode, they do a top 3 of the people that have stayed at home, and the winner of that ended up being this girl named Megan.
Your current weight is...
And she lost a pretty significant amount of weight. And again, like I was actually more interested in the people that had went home that had to lose the weight. So, good for her. I'm glad that she was able to lose the weight. I'm actually really interested because I would love to be able to get someone from the show that was on the show this season and be able to interview them and kind of talk to them about the process. Especially, I would love to interview the person that ends up winning, which we'll get into, but it would be cool to interview someone that was kind of like sent home and talk about what they did when they got home, because I think that that's really important. And that's one of my biggest critiques of this. Basically this whole series, the whole show, is that they don't really talk about what the people are doing at home. And I think that that would be the most helpful for the audience that's actually watching, because again, no one other than the people that are at the ranch are ever going to be going to this ranch, right? And so like, let's help the people that are at home and let's explain to them, this is how Megan lost X amount of weight. She was doing this, and I think that would be a really, really helpful thing for them to maybe do a little bit more of in the next season if they ever do one. And then they do the weigh-ins for the 3 finalists. And now this is where it gets a little bit dicey. So the winner ends up being Jim. Now, Jim lost a total of 144 pounds. I don't know exactly how long it was between the start weight versus this weight. It's really hard to say. It's kind of weird. Like, I know that there were 10 episodes, I think, but I think it was definitely more than 10 weeks. So it's really hard to say, but 144 pounds in a pretty short amount of time. I would say it was probably around 6 months, maybe. That's a lot of weight. That is a substantial amount of weight. And again, I want to make it very clear, I am not at all saying there's anything wrong with Jim. He obviously worked very hard to win this contest. Again, I think the thing that's most important is that these people are set up with the right tools when they get home. And like I said, I would love to be able to interview Jim. Like if he ends up watching this video, I would love to talk to him and see how he's doing, what he's doing, what it's been like after the show being done, because I think that that's the most important thing. And like I'm someone that's been very critical of the show, as you guys have seen, but I'm not someone that's trying to just be negative for no reason. I think that there are very good reasons that the show in the past had a lot of people that you could call them haters, but like people that were very critical of it because, as we saw with a lot of the research, people were being very unhealthy on these shows. And so I would love to be able to talk to the people that ended up winning, the people that were on the show, and be able to see how they're doing and kind of what the process was like while they were on the ranch. And again, Jim was able to reverse his type 2 diabetes. Like, these are all really good things, and I'm very, very happy for him. And so I just hope that he is able to maintain this, because he has definitely gained entirely new life through losing this weight and taking back his health, because I know that he has kids. I know that he has a lot of people that really count on him to be healthy. And so the fact that he was able to lose this weight, it is a good thing. And that's the thing about The Biggest Loser, right? Like, it makes you feel good watching it. It's just the skeletons in the closet that show themselves after the show is done, after the cameras are done rolling, that I've always been worried about. I want these people that go on the show, and especially the people that are watching, to understand that the amount of weight that these people lost in the short amount of time is not normal. And for a lot of times, it ends up not being very healthy. Now, does that mean Jim is a bad person for doing this? No, not at all. And I think that if anyone thinks that, that's a little bit ridiculous, right? He is going on a show. He's trying to win. And if I was to go on a show and I was going to try and win, I would try my hardest to do whatever it is I need to do to win. So I understand that. That's just where the problem lies, though, is because people are watching this. They might not realize what it takes to lose weight. They might not realize that what they are doing isn't sustainable for the regular person. And then they feel like, oh, I only lost 5 pounds in this month. I'm failing. I might as well give up. That's what I get worried about, and that's what I want people to avoid when they are watching this show. So all in all, it was a pretty good finale. I thought that they did a great job showing what the people are doing at home. They did a great job talking about how basically what you're doing at home is much more important than the things that they're doing at the ranch. Again, my critique is that they didn't really talk much about nutrition basically throughout this whole season. I would have loved to see a lot more about that, because you guys know that that is the most important thing when it comes to weight loss. And I really hope that they give these people the support that they need going forward, because that's what matters. And I would love if they do have another season to talk about nutrition more, and maybe even explain like, hey, the things that these people are doing, this is not, they're losing weight at a faster rate than most people probably would, just so people have, the right expectations when they are going into trying to lose weight. And then I would say, honestly, the biggest thing and my biggest critique that I hope, if they do bring it back, that they change these workouts that they're having the people do on the show and these challenges, because I think that is the most toxic thing about the show, and that is something that I cannot get behind, and that I can't rationalize. Like, I really think that is just silly. Like, there's absolutely no reason to do that other than to make the show better, right? That's the only reason these challenges and these crazy workouts are shown, is because they want to boost the ratings. Like, there's no other reason. It's not necessary for losing weight. You don't need to do those things. I would say it's the opposite of actually being smart. It's probably very stupid to do those things. We saw someone get really injured. It's just, I don't think that they need to put that in there. But all in all, I would say that this season was a little bit better than it has been in the past. And if they continue to improve over time, maybe it could be a show that I was actually happy to, support. But right now, it's still, I'm definitely like 50-50 with it. But there you guys go. I would love to know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. If you guys did watch the show, what you thought of the finale. I'm super interested to hear what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.